Hello and welcome back to FloRugby, where the 2025 Autumn Internationals are finally getting set to kick off, and what an opening weekend we have. England are going to be hosting Australia at Allianz Stadium, Twickenham. South Africa face Japan at Wembley Stadium. Scotland meet the USA at Murrayfield, and in Chicago it's Ireland versus New Zealand, one of rugby's fiercest rivalries over the past decade, reignited on the very ground where history first tilted in Ireland's favour let's call them long years ago at this stage. So let's start at Twickenham. England's shock 37-42 defeat to the Wallabies last year still hurts this English team, and Steve Borthwick has made his intentions clear. His selection is built for dominance in the air and control through territory. George Ford starts at fly half for his world-class kicking and composure, and he is partnered by Alex Mitchell at scrum half, a pairing designed to squeeze Australia with tactical precision and contestable bombs from the off. The midfield pairing of Tommy Freeman and Fraser Dingwall from Northampton is all about height, reach and aerial strength. Ollie Lawrence misses out despite his carrying power and incredible form for Bath, because this team is built to rule the skies. Freddie Stewart remains at fullback, while Tom Roebuck and Emmanuel Feoboso bring pace and hang time threat on either wing. Both of those players are incredible under the high ball. Mitchell said it best during the week when he was talking about his club teammate Tommy Freeman's shift into the centre, saying Freeman's got the speed, the power and the height. He understands the game. If he puts it all together, he is one hell of a player. Up front, England are built to grind. Finn Baxter, Jamie George and Joe Hayes form a meaty front row, with Maro Itoje and Ollie Chesham in the engine room. The back row of Guy Pepper, Sam Underhill and Ben Earl gives England pure mobility and relentless defensive and breakdown pressure. Tom Curry returns via the bench alongside Luke Cowan-Dickie, who is set to earn his 50th test cap. Borthwick's plan is obvious in this one. Win the collisions, win the air and win the territory. Three things they didn't really do last year. Joe Schmidt's Wallabies have picked a side that mirrors England's blueprint in some ways. Taniela Tupou returns at tight head, combining with Angus Bell and Billy Pollard for a very mobile front row, while Rob Valentini, Fraser McWright and captain Harry Wilson form a dynamic carrying back row. The backs are settled with Suali'i and Paisami in midfield and Kellaway controlling the backfield. Schmidt said this week, "We wanted to freshen a few players up after a tough schedule and make sure the group's ready to be really competitive." The Wallabies of course landed into London, having been in Tokyo to face Japan a week ago. So expect aerial chess, brutal breakdown contests and long kicking exchanges in this one. England's bench should swing it. I'm predicting a disciplined home win by about 8 to 10 points for Steve Borthwick's side. Now across London to Wembley, where South Africa face Japan a decade on from the miracle in Brighton. Eddie Jones, the architect of that 2015 shock, now leads Japan again, but he knows exactly what's coming. They get 30 metres from your line, two forwards come around the same way, and you know it's coming, is what Jones said. "You've got to be good enough to stop it," was his blunt response to what the Boks tactic is. Rassie Erasmus's team looks monstrous on paper. Oxnardje, Malcolm Marx and Davidson Zachary Pothen form the front row. Erge Sneeman and Lou Diaga combine in the second row, and Captain Sia Khaleesi lines up with Franka Mostert and Jasper Wiese in a bruising back row that is very well balanced. Sasha Feinberg Ngomazulu once again starts at fly half, with Cheslin Colby shifting to fullback and Kurt Lee Aronson returning on the wing in what is a very dynamic backline. Erasmus praised Japan but didn't hide his confidence, saying they're a quality team with a top coach, so we'll treat them with respect, he said. But we have to be sharp mentally and physically because very little separates the top teams in the world. On young Porthen, who was a superstar at under 20 level, he added, "He's proved at URC level and with the junior Springboks what he can do. This is the right match to give him his first shot." Japan will look to run, not wrestle. Their plan is to keep the ball alive, move the point of contact, and avoid getting trapped in slow collisions. The Boks will hammer the scrum and maul and choke them out of possession if given a chance. So we expect South Africa to control this match from the very first whistle. A 30+ point win feels very likely for the reigning world champions. At Murrayfield, Scotland versus the USA is about lessons for both sides, not necessarily just results. Gregor Townsend has rotated and refreshed his squad. Liam McConnell debuts at open side. Harry Morris is named on the bench. And Kyle Rowe starts at fullback with Duan van der Merwe and Darcy Graham bringing that sprinkling of stardust on the wings. Scotland's 2 all-time try scorers are on the wings and they are competing with each other to get that record. Jamie Dobie's energy at 9 gives them plenty of spark, and the front 5 led by Rory Sutherland and Scott Cummings will look to bully before unleashing a fast bench with plenty of young talent there. For Scott Lawrence's USA, it's all about control, contestable kicks, line speed, discipline and patience. They must deny Scotland broken field possession. Failure to do so will lead to a very long day. The back row of Viliama Helu, Corey Daniel and Paddy Ryan needs to work overtime to match Scotland's intensity in that department. Expect the Eagles to show plenty of spirit, but Scotland's finishing and fitness should take it. We're backing Scotland in this one by about 25 to 30 points. Now to the big one. Ireland versus New Zealand, Soldier Field. A rematch dripping with history, emotion and context. But this time, Ireland arrived very undercooked. Very, very undercooked, in fact. Across the starting pack, Ireland's first choice forwards have barely played any rugby since the British and Irish Lions series. Looking at their numbers, Andrew Porter has logged just 64 minutes so far this season. Dan Sheehan even less at 36. Tadhg Furlong has played 112 minutes. James Ryan 80, Tadhg Byrne 80, Ryan Baird the most at 240, Josh van der Fleer 151 and Jack Conan bringing up the rear with 0 minutes played so far. That is a combined total of just 763 minutes of rugby across Ireland's entire starting pack this season. The equivalent of one full player's workload over 8 matches, you would guess. Against a battle-hardened All Blacks unit that has already played 9 tests this year, the contrast is massive between these two teams coming into this clash. Andy Farrell admitted the challenge but leaned into the occasion as he so often does, saying, "It's a real privilege to be back here in Chicago ahead of a huge game. We've been received brilliantly and there are going to be thousands of Irish supporters cheering us on. That will inspire the team," with Irish fans set to outflank their Kiwi counterparts by 5-1. On uncapped prop Paddy McCarthy, he added, "His selection is a testament to his form. We'll do our utmost to make it a special weekend for him and his family," even though his big brother Joe is unfortunately injured this weekend. Ireland's side is still high quality, however. Jack Crowley is back at 10, Jamison Gibson-Park at 9, Stuart McCluskey and Gary Ringrose in the midfield with Jamie Osborne, James Lowe and Tommy O'Brien on the wing. The cohesion's there, but the match sharpness simply isn't, and that's the key question heading into this one. How quickly can this side find rhythm against a team that's already running hot on the back of a Rugby Championship campaign? New Zealand, by contrast, have named a balanced, settled side relatively, with Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor and Fletcher Newell forming a brilliant front row. Captain Scott Barrett partners Fabian Holland in the second row, and the back row is where those question marks were primarily, with Simon Parker, Ardy Sevilla and Peter Lakai bringing energy and breakdown power with Parker's line-out ability. Beauden Barrett returns at fly half with Cam Roygaard at 9. Geordie Barrett and Quintapaya form a brilliant-looking new midfield, with Caleb Clark, Leroy Carter and Will Jordan forming a potent back three for Ireland to contend with. Scott Robertson said of the match, "This is an awesome match to kick off our Northern Tour. Ireland are a strong side and will have a loud contingent of supporters here in Chicago. So we are prepared for a passionate clash. We've had a great week and we're looking forward to it." So it'll be a very interesting clash of two very different teams this week. This match will be won or lost in two places for me: the breakdown and the kicking game. Ireland's tempo thrives on lightning quick ball, but with Savia and Lakai in particular hunting the breakdown, they'll struggle to sustain it without that match fitness, one would think. The All Blacks will look to slow Ireland down, then hit them on the turnover with their pace and explosive athletes. Will Jordan's counter-attack, Beauden Barrett's ability to nail pinpoint kicks, and Geordie Barrett's midfield control, as well as his insight onto the Irish players, all point to New Zealand's side ready to dictate the tempo in this match. Ireland's freshness could work both ways, however. They may fade early, or they may start fast and shock the Kiwis with energy and sustain it. Who knows? But if this turns into a high-speed breakdown battle, the All Blacks' extra match fitness and hardness, as well as that cohesion, gives them the edge for me in this one. My prediction, my head says New Zealand by 5 to 8 points, which hurts me as an Irishman, of course. They're sharper, more tested, and have too much rhythm right now. But if Ireland can survive that early storm and grow into the contest, this could be yet another classic in this brilliant rivalry. So that's your opening weekend touched on. England and Australia in the air, South Africa's brute force versus Japan's speed, Scotland's youth against America's grit, and Ireland versus New Zealand in a rivalry that never disappoints since that famous day in Chicago back in 2016. Drop your predictions below. Who lands the first statement win of November for you? And which nation has the most to prove heading into this winter ahead of the Rugby World Cup draw? Is it Ireland's squad that needs regeneration? Is it the All Blacks that are under pressure? Can it be the Boks? Either way, thank you for watching, and we really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like and subscribe button and make sure you leave those comments. If you want to watch the world's best club rugby action, make sure you check out FloRugby subscription packages. We currently have the URC, Prem Rugby, Top 14, plenty of test matches including in this November window with the Springboks and Japan, of course, first up on that one, as well as tons of other rugby. We are your one-stop shop, so make sure you check it all out. Thanks again for watching the video.